Hey everybody, Drew McLellan here from Agency Management Institute. Even though this week was a short week, here in the US anyway, because of Labor Day, I still chatted with a lot of agency owners and they still had a lot of questions. Some of the questions I got asked this week were, why should we consider contractors, or here in the US, 1099s, as a cost of goods rather than put them into our salary bucket? Number two, hey, we have a podcast where you've been approached by a podcast network who would like us to be a part of their network, which is great. They'll promote our podcast, but it also means that any revenue from sponsorship or ad sales has to be split with the network. Is that a good idea or not? And three, do I have legal grounds at some point in time to demand that my employees come back to the office and to end our work from home season? So I'm going to answer the first question, which is about your contractors or 1099s. So first, what I'm going to say to you is this. If you have an accountant who is insisting that your contractors go into your adjusted gross income, so remember, you've got your gross revenue. This is everything we bill a client. We're going to subtract our cost of goods. So that's printing, that's media, that's contractors, anything that we buy on behalf of a client that we're going to pass that cost through in some way to the client as a cost of goods. And what's left is adjusted gross income. And adjusted gross income is actually the money that an agency owner gets to keep. And what you do with that money is you cover your loaded salaries, so salaries and benefits, you cover your overhead, and hopefully there's some money left over for profit, which of course covers taxes and other things like that. All right, why is a contractor a cost of goods? A contractor is not an employee. An employee is someone that you either have on salary or you pay hourly, but think of all the times you pay them when they're not actually producing something for your agency. Holidays, vacations, internal meetings, whatever it may be. They get a salary whether they're working for you or not. That's part of your deal with them. That is not the deal we have with contractors. The deal we have with contractors is I have a specific task that I'm going to pay you for, and whether you pay them by the hour or by a project fee, it doesn't matter, but that task is in service of a client. If you didn't have that work for the client, you would not be sending the contractor money. They are a cost of goods. And any accountant who tells you that that's not correct does not understand agency math. If you have a general accountant who keeps pressuring you to put those costs into your adjusted gross income, maybe they tell you it's overhead, maybe they tell you you should lump it into salary, they are wrong. And you need to find a new accountant. If you need an agency-centric accountant, let me know. I'm happy to introduce you to a couple, but you need to have somebody who understands how our business runs. Contractors are always a cost of goods because they are tied to client work. The one exception to that is if you outsource something that is absolutely always an expense to the agency. So for example, I outsource my agency's accounting to an outside firm. They are serving my agency. I pay them a flat fee no matter what they do. So they are, in essence, the substitute for me having a CFO or an accountant inside my agency. I book as overhead expense because they are not serving a client. So your contractors are in service of clients. So therefore, they are a cost of goods. Just like if you hired a company to do web dev for you, you would call that a cost of goods as well. Same thing whether it's an individual or a company. And by the way, most of your contractors, for you to make sure, here in the States anyway, that you're protecting yourself against the should they be an employee versus a contractor rule, your contractors actually should be a company. Even if they're a company with one employee, they should ideally be a company and you're paying that company money, not the individual. All right? I hope that was helpful. I'll be back next week with another answer to a question I get asked by an agency owner. I'll see you then.